Hi everyone, welcome back to the Vibrant Life Source channel. I'm so happy you are here, partly because I'm just happy you guys are stopping by, and also I'm so happy that you're going to be tuning in for today's Vibrant Chat with my dear friend, and this is her second time back with me, my dear friend Monica Paz. She's a certified nutritionist, a functional nutritionist and lifestyle practitioner. She's just so knowledgeable and just a lovely person. I've known her for years, and today we're talking about a subject matter that I think is very mainstream, but I also think a lot of people really don't know how it relates to them individually, and we're talking about gut health. So we're just having a very easy high level talk about why is gut health so stinking important, and why is it important to our bodies and our overall well-being, and how do you know if you need to go have a chat with your doc about your gut health. So great chat, and what I want to make sure that you go down and you check out Monica's information. She's got some amazing stuff coming up. She's got an amazing website. And while you're there, be sure to put a like, and because it helps out my channel, but also make sure that you don't miss out on any videos that you may want to watch. And also, sneaky plug, make sure you check out my Vibrant virtual platform for free videos, for links to my upcoming webinar, my free webinar that comes on August 11th. And you get to book a free consultation with yours truly for one-to-one personal training, yoga instruction, health and nutrition coaching. Or you can also sign up for my Vibrant membership, which is a monthly membership where it's kind of like choose your own wellness adventure, where you can get fitness videos, yoga, meditation. You get a part of a great community of other like-minded wellness warriors, all for $29 a month. So that's less than $1 a day. What can you go wrong with that? So stay tuned. I'm also got some exciting news. I mean, big news coming. Yeah. So I got big news coming up for September, so stay tuned. And without further ado, I give you my friend, Monica Paz. See you soon, everyone. Bye. Hey everyone, welcome back to Vibrant Chats. And you may recognize today's guest because she is back for round 2. It is Monica Paz, my very dear friend, who is a certified nutritionist and a functional nutritionist and lifestyle practitioner. Monica, I'm so happy you're back.
Thank you so much, Leanne. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be back too.
I mean, you and I could talk nutrition for hours. And so when I mentioned to you, I think it was like a month ago, a few weeks, maybe 2 to 4 weeks ago, like, we should do another Vibrant Chat. And you're like, sure. And I'm like, okay, when can we do it?
I'm honored
because there's so many subjects. There's like so many subjects.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the one that we decided to talk about today is one that is so mainstream that I think it actually is confusing for people. And I want to talk about gut health. And I know that's something of a passion of yours.
Yes, absolutely.
And so the market's very saturated. Like if you look on social media or podcasts or anywhere, it's like gut health. Try this product for your gut, all of this, all of that. I think we need to start with the basics. So I think it would be extremely helpful from your point of view. Why is gut health so important?
That's the $1 million question.
Isn't it?
Isn't it? The fundamentals, the basics. So what we're talking about when we say why is gut health so important is because the gut is at the seat of all health. Health begins in the gut. It just, when you think about how we eat all day long, that is the single most what do I want to say? It's the single biggest insult that our bodies will go through is eating. Because for some people, eating is painful
Mhm.
and it causes symptoms. And the reason why it causes symptoms is because the body is speaking, the body's talking to you and letting you know whether the thing that you're eating is beneficial to you or not.
Mhm.
And so for that, we need to kind of back it up a little bit and think about the digestive system as this tube. Okay, so the tube that goes from your mouth to your anus. And really, when you think about it, that is the outside of the body. So anything in the digestive tract is on the outside of the body. And the body is in charge of, the digestive system is in charge of breaking down the food that comes in enough for it to be absorbed. And once that food is absorbed into the body, it goes into the circulatory system. The circulatory system is like the highway that takes that food everywhere. So that food is information for the body to do something with. So it could go either way. And if that food is not beneficial, if it's harmful, that is going to go to your system. So this is where we get the migraines, the lack of sleep, the inability to lose weight, the high blood sugar, the pain in the joints and the muscles, and all of these things is once it goes systemic. But it could also be localized, meaning that the body may not be able to digest that food. And that's when we see things like diarrhea, constipation, bloating, gas, all
Right.
of these things.
Right.
Mhm.
And I've also recently heard on a podcast by Mark Hyman
Ah,
that your gut directly impacts your immune system too.
absolutely. And the
Right.
reason why and the way that it does is once that food gets digested and it's absorbed, is the immune system that is going to be right there ready to receive it. I mean, the immune system is manufactured, all of these neurotransmitters are manufactured in the gut. And so immediately, if there is some kind of an immune reaction, if the immune system is not happy, if it sees this food as something that doesn't belong, that is not welcome, then the immune system is going to go into on the attack. And that attack could be, it's the runny nose, it's the itchy skin, is the different rashes and pain and all that. That is a way of the immune system attacking something that is not
Right.
welcoming into the body.
And I think so many people, it's hard to connect dots, right? I mean, they think, oh, well, I have sinus issues, I have allergies because my nose or my itchy eyes or my itchy skin. And yes, it could be allergies, but it could also be something in your gut.
Absolutely, absolutely. And think about it, for every cell that we have in our body, we have 10 bacteria that are protecting us. That's the microbiome. And a microbiome is comprised of the bacteria and the different fungi and different bugs that are in the digestive tract that are protecting us against the environment and their genetic material. So we literally are more bacteria than we are cells,
Which is
human.
fascinating.
It's
Really is.
fascinating. And when we think about it, this genome project, and the microbiome project are just so new. This is new medicine. This was done in the 2000s. And
Right.
so we're still, seeing this effect of the genes and the environment. And so this is called epigenetics. And if anybody wants to look that up, the actual word for, or the meaning of epigenetics is above genetics. It used to be that we were told in school that genes were your fate, that if you looked at,
Right.
you know, Alzheimer's or diabetes or anything that ran in your family, then that was your fate and you were set and that's
Right.
it. But now we know that is the environment that affects that the expression of a gene. So we say that genetics loads the gun, but the environment pulls the trigger. So that just leaves so much room for us to take our health into our own hands and to really alter those genes, the expression of those genes, because those genes could literally be dormant if
And
they're
I
not.
think for so many people, you're so right. I think when people realize what their genetic makeup is, they're like, it's like, well, but that's not the case. You still have say if that gene, your genetics, gets turned on or stays dormant. You still have control over it. You still have some say in it. And just because you may have a predisposition for something doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to get triggered. And that's why it's so, so important to prioritize your health at a young age. Make it a lifestyle rather than a short term.
Exactly. And what's really interesting, Leanne, is that great if you started at a young age, but even now, your microbiome can literally change in 3 or 4 days.
Right.
If you go to a foreign country, if you're eating different food, if you up the type of fiber that you're eating, or even if you go the other way, your microbiome is going to change. They have done studies to prove that. And so having this tool, the fact that we can feed our microbiome, we can help it be as healthy as possible, then we can alter the expression of our genes. That's just amazing to me.
Just amazing. And the fact that the study and the science of the gut is so new.
Mm-hmm.
And they are continuing to learn more things. And we're finding that the gut, I mean, I think a lot of people are starting to have heard the term, your gut's your second brain.
Exactly.
And that how involved our gut is to our overall function of our entire body. And so that's why we are seeing so much information, so much mainstream information, products, supplements, everything for gut health, because it is so important. Now, I think when people, then if we bring it down to the individualized level,
Mm-hmm.
and I can speak from personal experience on this too. I think if you have gut health issues, and again, symptoms are wide range, right? There's so many symptoms and they can vary, but we don't realize, I think, a lot of times that there is something not normal when we think something is our normal.
Absolutely.
So if we go in a cycle, for example, of, let's just call it spade, of constipation, diarrhea, and then for a while things are normal, they're fine, and then that cycle picks up again. If this is all we know, I think a lot of people don't think, oh, this isn't, because first of all, let's just be honest. How many people are going to talk with their family and just in a social experience about bowel movements?
Yes.
Right?
Right.
and and we just don't. We just think that's our normal. And I think how many people out there are suffering thinking this is normal for their body, and it's not.
Yes. And it's more common than you would know. It's
Right.
how often people take for granted their bowel movements until it comes to a point where it starts interfering with their lifestyle. And
Right.
it's at that point that they will seek help. But I'm here to tell you that you can seek help way before then, because having bloating, having a food baby where you have this distended abdomen, having excessive burping or gas or discomfort or pain, any of these things are not normal, and they are addressable. They are things that you can fix
Right.
easily.
Right. And so if you have someone, I mean, I think, and I do think there's a lot of people that either, like I said, they don't realize that this is not normal.
Mhm,
They may feel uncomfortable going to the doctor. And
mhm,
it could be just a simple thing of not even, as you had said, it may not even be bowel movement. It could be there's so many other symptoms that you can have.
mhm.
Um, and it can come on over time. It can happen over time. Maybe, you know, it's just a slow ramp up to now where you're like, wow, there's just days that I just feel horrible. I just feel yucky. I just don't feel like myself. Well, that's not normal. And they think that it is their norm. And don't feel bad if, we all know if something's not right.
Mhm.
And going to your doctor, um, starting that conversation. And I think it's just people need to. Do you think it's a lack of self-awareness, or do you think people just don't? There's maybe this hesitancy to address what they know is off. What do you
I
think?
think I think that people just number one, it's kind of like the frog in the pot, that you start warming up the water and they don't realize
Mm,
um, that this has gotten worse. And then secondly, it's an embarrassment. Who
it
wants to talk
is.
about gas and bloating and discomfort? And it becomes kind of a social norm too. I was talking to a young 20-year-old woman, and she was telling me, oh yeah, we just passed the gas X among my friends, but they don't understand that there is something they could do about it. They think it's a funny thing or whatever, but really they're suffering in silence
Right.
because they don't understand that number one, they're not alone. It's happening to a lot of people because our food is
No.
so processed and our food is so full of chemicals that we have started eating things that are not food. They're food like substances. They're manufactured,
Right.
by human hands in the because we worship at the altar of convenience. Convenience is
You
what
do.
we have been told that we need, and we're too busy to stop and make a meal. And in some cases, we don't even know how to make a meal. And
Mm,
so that's not even an option because we have always had it this way. We've always done it this way. Only now we're seeing the consequences of all of these pesticides being added to food.
right.
And so this is not normal. To go 3, 4, 5 days without a bowel movement is not normal.
Right. I mean, we have a whole subject matter for even another chat, how our food system is broken, it's, and as someone, and I think part of why I wanted to do this vibrant chat is because I'm someone that's been suffering for a very long time. And um, I've recently, thanks to you, got directed to a great place where I can go. And I actually, I have SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And I it's no fun. And it's just something that but I'm happy I'm finally working with a doctor that can help. And I think, so many people don't contribute a lot of their health issues to the gut.
Mhm.
For a lot of people, the gut is the root cause. And so
And I
go
think
ahead.
that we also would have to address mental health issues because the gut and the brain are connected through the vagus
Yes.
nerve. And so, anytime that you see gut dysfunction, you're also going to see anxiety, depression, or some other form of
Right.
mental health issues, which the gut and the brain are connected. We're part of the same system. Is all connected.
Why
Um,
it's called the second brain.
so settling the mental issues, that the spiritual, the emotional,
Right.
all of these things, we cannot heal unless we address these issues.
Right.
The that being in fight or flight all the time will keep you from healing. You will not get the results that you
Right.
are looking for until your mental, spiritual, and emotional health is taken care of. And there's so many ways of doing that. And this is a new thing. It used to be that, just like the gut issues were like, oh, this is something I have to do and suffer alone. You don't have to suffer alone when you have anxiety or depression, or you're running in circles in your brain, ending in the same place. This is all connected, and there are things that we can do about that.
And I'm so happy that mental health is becoming mainstream. It's becoming more open and more socially acceptable to talk about.
Yeah.
I think it's so positive and so good. And I agree with you. I think um, as we know, our body's a highway. Everything's connected. And
Yes.
so, just because you have one thing going on in your body, it connects and so many other aspects of your body react to it. So we're all connected, it's all connected in some
Yeah.
form or fashion. So, all right, someone's listening to this chat and they got that itch, like, oh gosh, some of this kind of sounds familiar. Oh, I wonder if I have an issue.
Hmm.
So what are some things, and I know there's a laundry list of
Yeah.
symptoms, right? I mean, we couldn't possibly, but what are some things that someone needs to be aware of and to kind of realize that, oh, maybe this isn't normal for my body, for my gut health, and maybe I need to go talk to my doctor about it.
Well, the symptoms that we mentioned, having diarrhea, constipation, bloating, gas, discomfort, anxiety, depression, joint pain, um, arthritis pain. You're not getting old.
Those are
It's
big ones. Those are the
yeah.
big ones.
And then we have to think about that. There's so many things in the environment that affect
Mhm.
all of these things. There's toxins, and when you think about toxins, we're talking about environmental toxins, things like that receipt that you pick up at the grocery store that has BPA. BPA is um, bisphenol A, which is an endocrine disruptor. An endocrine disruptor is going to disrupt your hormones, and your hormones, guess what? They rule in your body. And so it's all connected. And uh, women on average are exposed to about 160 chemicals per day, and men about 80 chemicals per day.
That's just
And these chemicals are all processed by the liver.
right.
And so you can imagine we're just living in a cesspool of chemicals.
Right.
Then add to that what we're eating. The toxins in our environment could also be a toxic relationship. It
Mhm.
could be chronic stress. It could be a parasite. And parasites is not just for people who go to Mexico and drink the water.
Right.
Parasites could come in your produce, and they could come anywhere. They could come from your pets. And all of these things are things that we look at in functional nutrition and functional medicine to see how this body is able to handle these stresses or these stressors. And when we look at this, then we start kind of dissecting it like an onion, peeling the onion and addressing, how are you sleeping? How are you eating? How are you pooping? What are your relationships like? Are you laughing with your friends? Are you having fun? Are you doing what you are passionate about? Because this passion, being in the flow, is a form of mental health release. It's a way of living, a full life. And that's what we all want to do. We all want the same things. We want to live a healthy, fulfilled life. And the way to do that is to really, the reason we start in the gut is because this is the entry. Unless you put it inside, it's not going to go in except inhaling, getting exposed to a chemical. But if you eat it, that's the most common thing, a common way of getting something in your body that doesn't belong there. And so looking at your symptoms, if you're not sleeping, if you have belly fat, if you are exhausted, if you have fatigue, brain fog, blood sugar crashes where you just don't have the energy you used to have, where you have pain, or you're running to the bathroom all the time, or not going to the bathroom.
Right.
Constipation is a toxin. It's waste that stays in your intestines. If it stays in there longer than 24 hours, it's recycling back to your brain. And so if you're having issues, emotional issues.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I could say a joke right now. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
think about these things think about what a week looks like for you. And I think people don't track their bowel movements as often. I think people have to think about, like, if you ask someone, how many bowel movements have you had this week? I bet they have to pause and think about it and
Yeah,
go,
unless they're regular, and then they say every morning at 6
right,
a.m.
right, right. And they're like,
then they know.
yes, yeah, right. And they're like, 6 a.m.
But if they're struggling, there are, and your bowel movements and your eating will tell you so much about your
Gosh,
body, because your body's speaking to you and
right.
it's telling you through all these symptoms what it needs. And that's one of the things that I do in my practice is I offer cleanses, and the cleanses are not just like a juicing cleanse or anything like that, but just whole foods, just
Real
teaching
food.
people how to eat whole foods and foods that come from nature versus foods that come from a factory. And
Well,
that's
speaking of,
Mhm.
so tell us about, so I think a lot of people, the idea of working with a nutritionist, I think people have this stigma of the traditional nutritionist that you may get in a hospital or at a clinic. Let me tell you, people, Monica's nothing like that. You actually can, and Monica has lots of things going on that you have coming up. You have so much information you're putting out there. Just your Instagram posts alone are so informative. Your own YouTube channel, everything that you have going on is just informative. So tell people what you're up to, what you're doing, how you can support people. I will make sure down below in the show notes and everything that they know how they can contact you and connect with you on your website. But do tell what's going on.
Okay. So what I do most of the time is I see people one-on-one, and they can find me at nourishedfunctionalnutrition.com. And I also have group courses. So I have a group right now, it's a membership course that we meet every month, and we discuss these topics at length. Because I find that one of the things that people have trouble with is discerning, even though the information is so widespread on the internet, it's very difficult to know what's truth from fiction. And there's just too much information. So we'll pick a topic and we discuss it. And as we get to know each other, in community is very supportive. It's a wonderful community where people help each other. Sometimes we have cooking classes. I also have a Facebook group, Nourished Functional Nutrition, and you can belong to that. It's a public group, so you can ask. It's a private group, so you need to ask for permission to join, and I will accept you, obviously, but anybody can join. And then I'm also working on a course that will release probably towards the end of October or November. And that course is going to be on blood sugar regulation. So it's going to be helping people connect their weight loss resistance, so the muffin top, the belly fat, the fatigue, to their blood sugar crashes, because there is, 8 out of 10 Americans have metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome involves blood sugar dysregulation. And when we're unable to lose the weight and our hormones are all over the place, we're not thinking, oh, it's my blood sugar. And so I want to help people make that connection.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, so they can
And you have a newsletter too, right?
I have a newsletter, so if they can go to my website and sign up for that.
So I'll make sure, so everyone, you have homework, and your homework is to go down below, you click on the link to Monica's website, and you sign up for the newsletter. That is your homework. You check out everything. If the Facebook group resonates with you, join it. If you're looking for a community, I know Monica, I've known Monica for years, and I guarantee you it's going to be one of the best decisions you make because she's an amazing facilitator. She's so personable. Go sign up.
Thanks, Leanne.
And the monthly groups. Yes, what a great idea. I think, and it's good to, to come together. You're leaving that with some information, something that you can add to your personal toolbox of resources. And that's great. Well, Monica, it's been another fabulous chat.
Yes, it has.
So, all right, everyone, make sure you go down below. Check out Monica's website. I know she's got, especially because then she's got that course coming up in October, so you can stay in the loop there. And well, thank you again. I appreciate this. This has been awesome. It's a subject matter that I think needs to be discussed more because there's so much information out there. We need to know what to look for and how it pertains to us as individuals. So thank you for kind of clearing the air a bit.
Thank you so much, Leanne.
All right, Monica, have a fabulous day and I'll chat with you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.